Hey guys, thanks for joining me. It's Grant with AnglingAuthority.com. Back when the Project Z Chatterbait came out from Z-Man Fishing, when that came out, it was really exciting for me and the group of anglers that I hang out with because we were just so used to using the original chatterbait, and it was such a staple for our fishing. We'd always have one tied on, and it was part of, you'd get out in the morning, you'd throw it just to see if the chatterbait would work, because it's one of those baits that doesn't work all the time, but when it does, it's phenomenal. So when Z-Man Fishing came out with the Project Z Chatterbait, which had all these improvements over the original chatterbaits, I contacted them because it was really exciting, and I said, we got to get our hands on some of these. We got to do a review on them for the website, and we'll probably do a how-to as well. And they said, great, sure, well, we'll send you some. And I've been fishing with the Project Z Chatterbait for 6 months now, and it has some great improvements over the original chatterbait. So some of the things about the original chatterbait that we were having problems with, I'm going to show you guys. Here's some of the original chatterbaits I have. And as you can see, what we've done with this one is we've actually used some Power Pro to tie the skirt on because we were having problems with the skirt actually getting pulled off by fish. So that's one of the fixes that we had for the original chatterbait. And we were having problems also with the hooks getting bent open when we get a big northern or anything like that. Here you can see I've got some original chatterbaits already that they're part of my tackle box. And another part of the problem that I was having is this clasp. It would just get mangled, and sometimes you'd even lose fish because they were getting opened up. So when the Project Z Chatterbait came out, and I've got one right here, they actually made some improvements which we were really excited to see. You've got this new clasp. It's totally tied on, and you can see how it's twisted on so that it won't open, which is a vast improvement over the older chatterbait. It's got the same coffin blade that works really well. You've got a new different design head that comes through cover a lot better. They put a let's see, let me grab another one here. Project Z. No, that's not Project Z. There you go. They put, if you look at the guts of the lure, they put a much better trailer keeper. They've got a stouter hook that won't open, and they've got a larger skirt keeper right there. So they've actually made a slew of improvements to the Project Z Chatterbait, which makes it an overall better chatterbait. And I've used the chatterbait for quite a while now, and I've been using it on this little rig here. This is a Abu Garcia STX. This is a 7-to-1 gear ratio, and I actually throw it on Legend Tournament St. Croix. This is the Slop and Frog swim jig. You can see it right there. I throw it on a 7.4 heavy, fast. You've actually got a chatterbait. I've already got a chatterbait on there, throwing it the white. And I like this rod with I throw it with braid. I just happen to use Power Pro, but I throw it with any kind of braid. It just gives you a good solid hookup. When the fish grab it, you got them. You just set the hook and go. So it's a really good chatterbait. And when we've been throwing it, we've been using a lot of different trailers, as you saw. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the trailers we've been using. We've been using it with a lot of different trailers. We've been using the chatterbait with paddle tails, craws, grubs. We've even used it with flukes, like a caffeine shad or whatever. And it's worked with all different trailers, depending on the conditions, and it's worked really well. minimal hang-ups and weeds. We've thrown it in some crazy places, and it's had a lot of success. I'm going to show you some trailers that we've been using. So for paddle tails, these are the 3 trailers that I primarily use and I would probably recommend for the chatterbait. You've got your Easy Swimmer from Gambler. This is a phenomenal trailer. It's got a lot of thump, big paddle tail. It's got the segmenting here, so it gives you a lot of sway each way. I use that with the Project Z Chatterbait when I'm in the fall, when I'm looking for something a little bit bigger, or when I'm trying to cull in a tournament. I will use it also with a Chatterbait Elite, and you've got one here rigged up that I've been using, and that is a phenomenal big fish bait right here. I'll use the Diesel Minnow as well. That's a Z-Man product. I like the Diesel Minnow. It's got a little bit, you can see it's got a little bit shorter profile, so I'll use that in the spring, when the water's a little bit cooler, or if I'm going for fish that are a little bit harder to get to bite, I might throw that for a bit. The only thing about the Z-Man products is that they don't keep very well in a boat. So if you're like leaving your boat out in the sun or whatever, this will get all weird on you. And I've got one here. This has been in my boat for about 3-4 days, and she's done. They just, I don't know, kind of melt into. So that's one of the things with the Z-Man plastics. I've got another paddle tail here. This is actually an X-Zone paddle tail. This is discontinued. If you can find them, good luck. Buy as many as you can. It's got a huge boot. If you see the boot tail on it and compare it with the other ones, it's got a huge boot. So I'll throw that. I'll throw this when I know fish are active and feeding, or I'll throw it in this fall, looking for a larger bass, or if I need to call again. As far as craws and that kind of thing, I've got some stuff here to show you. Now, these are the 3 craws that I use. Now, you've got the Gambler Mega Daddy. That is a phenomenal one. I've got one actually here on an original chatterbait that I've been throwing. This is a green pumpkin blue chatterbait, and it's just phenomenal. The thing about the Mega Daddy, and that's a full Mega Daddy, and I've got one here that I've actually cut off there, and you just twist off the tail end, and it's just such a big profile. And these claws, they're just so rhythmic when they go up and down so subtly, so slowly. Bass just can't resist it, and I found that I've had a lot of success with the Mega Daddy and segmenting it like that. Again, the Z-Man plastics. This is a turbo craws. Again, they don't keep very well in a boat, but they're great plastics for when bass are just smashing them. They're super tough. I mean, they could take a lot of pounding, but they don't keep very well in a heated boat. And I've actually been using, and I'm doing a review on this as well, the Burner Craw from Gambler. This is a great bait. It's got the new Why Not body on it, so it's a nice tight body with a you can see it here, an angled front so it doesn't get caught up. But it's got these little tails on the end, and these 2 Burner Craw legs, they really make a very fast motion, like a fleeing fish, like a fleeing minnow or whatever. So this is a really great bait in the spring because it gives the impression of a smaller fish. Or if you know that bass are going after, let's say you see a lot of perch or bluegill in the waters, you know that bass are targeting them. Or if, let's say, one of them spits up a small bluegill in your live well, just tie one of these on, and you've got these little tails, and they give you a great, just a great fleeting small fish action. So those are the 3 craws that I primarily use, and this is there's the Mega Daddy right there, segmented for you guys to see. Now I do use, sometimes I'll use a fluke, and you got some over here that I'm showing you. Now this is the Super Stud from Gambler again, white. You can't beat white, and I'll match it up with like a 3/8 chatterbait. Can't beat that. when you go with a fluke or a caffeine shad, any kind of something that's just a little bit more subtle, you need to just remember to shake the rod a little bit and give it some action, or you can kill it and see if they'll hit it on the fall. So those are two other options that I use primarily, and I'll only go with like a natural color or a white, and white always seems to be a great thing in the fall for me. And the other thing that I'll use as well for chatterbaits is grub. Grub, again, it has the tail, single tail or a double tail. I'm looking for some fast, just a little bit of a fast, like a fleeting action in the bait. And I'll use, this is a twin tail from Gambler again. You guys can tell I love Gambler. This is a twin tail from Gambler, or you can just use like any. This is just a regular grub, any kind of grub from the local tackle shop. You can just pick it up and do whatever. That works really well when fish are just, they're going after bait fish. Some great stuff. I recently actually caught a nice 5-pounder, and I'm going to put that clip on the end of this video. And this is what I used for the 5-pounder that I caught while doing the review. This is like a perch or bluegill pattern, and it had a big boot tail on it, and that did really well for me. And it, I was matching the hatch. There was a lot of perch and bluegill around. Bluegill were nesting actually, and I just ran it over a bunch of weeds, just over, and I killed her right at the edge, and she came up and just smashed it. I want to show you guys some other trailer options. This here's, let's see, this is I didn't go over this one, but this is a grass pig from Havoc, and that's on an original chatterbait. You can see that there. And then here you go again. This is another Gambler Easy Swimmer, and that's on an original chatterbait as well. So these are some great options for chatterbaits right here. You got lots of great options for the new Project Z Chatterbait, and I'm really happy with this bait. I think chatterbait is one of those baits that when you throw it, it does really well with the right conditions and the right trailer.
A couple months ago, we contacted Z-Man about their new chatterbait Project Z, and it's one of these that I've got rigged here, and they've designed them with all these features which you can read about in the review. And I've been using it today, and what I've been throwing it with is St. Croix Slop and Frog. This is a 7.4 rod, heavy, fast, and I've been throwing it with a Rebo STX reel from Abu. It's a 7-to-1 gear ratio, and very happy with the bait. Today what I'm testing it out on is a bluegill pattern, this one here, right here. And I've tipped it with a little boot tail swim bait, and I want to show you guys the result. That's the result. This big female is a beautiful post-spawn fish. She came off a nice deep weed bed, and we caught it basically just matching the hatch, matching the forage. Lots of perch in this lake. What we did is basically we just slow rolled the chatterbait over the weed beds, and there you go, result. 5 pounds, 3 ounces, largemouth.
With the right trailer and the right conditions, the chatterbait is a phenomenal bait. If you have the right gear, you can get it in almost anywhere. You can throw it in cover, thick weed beds, just pop it along, fairly weedless. You could do so much with it, and the new Project Z Chatterbait was a really great design improvement over the original chatterbait. I still have several original chatterbaits that I plan on keep using because it's just such a great fish catcher for me. But when I do replace the chatterbaits, because eventually they will die off and stop working for me or get used up, I do plan on, definitely, I'm going to keep replacing my chatterbaits with the Project Z Chatterbait. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I want to mention is that there's a lot of companies, because of the the success of the bladed swim jig. There's a lot of companies that do make bladed swim jigs and chatterbaits. I've tried all of them, most of them. What I found is that they're not consistent, and I don't always get the result I want. What I can say is with Project Z Chatterbait and the original chatterbait from Z-Man is that I found that the product is consistent. I know what I'm getting, and it does have some flaws, especially with the original chatterbait, but I know what they are, and I can fish and minimize those flaws. Like the original chatterbait, I know that the skirt sometimes slips, so I'll put some glue or tie it on like I showed you earlier in the video. And those are things that as an angler, you're always looking to overcome whatever possible setbacks you may have. So yeah, in conclusion, the Project Z Chatterbait is a phenomenal chatterbait. It's well designed. They've addressed all the issues that anglers have had with the original chatterbait. They've actually listened to anglers, and they've really taken some time. And if you watch some of those Project Z videos that they put out, they're catching fish, and it's a great bait. Definitely recommend it. Always have one tied on, and I always, every time I go out, I at least try it to see if it's one of the things that fish are looking to bite, because it is just such a phenomenal bait. So anyway, that's my review and a little bit of how-to. I didn't cover too much of it, but that's my review on the ChatterBait Project Z. Definitely a winner, definitely design improvement. So check it out. I'm going to put some links at the end of the article. And take a look at it and see and try it out. And let me know, guys. Comment, let me know what's working for you, what's not working for you, and let me know your thoughts. Thanks a lot, guys.